Hey guys, welcome to Simon Says Pop. You know what? I'm just gonna go and hop right into it. Mandalorian episode 2. Guys.
Well, one, I think it was a genius decision on their part to have a schedule on that, because the reveal at the end of episode 1 would have just gotten squashed by the entire run of the show.
Yep. Absolutely. You know, the fact that you know what, as much as I begrudge Disney for being like, you know what, guys, sorry, no binge watching. Thank you. It gives us something to talk about. You know, we can actually sit here and be like, hey.
Now it's a weekly social media presence now instead of all at one, and it's going to go for 8 weeks.
Well, no, it's the Game of Thrones thing. It's like, hey guys, what are you talking about? We're talking about fucking Star Wars and The Mandalorian and how amazing that show has been. Personally, my favorite scene of the last episode, that Jawa blasting them away and Baby Yoda. Well, first off, guys, by the way, I want to go ahead and put
spoilers.
Spoilers, not even spoilers.
No, spoilers.
If you don't know about Baby Yoda, you basically have just not been on the internet.
Have the internet.
He's literally the meme of the week now. But I'm just saying, like,
it's the meme of every week now.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Nobody saw it coming. They kept it hidden. It was great.
My favorite one is, hey mom, that face you give a mom when she gets off the phone to let her know you shit yourself. Yeah. Oh my god, I love that.
And there's another one that goes when you wonder why your mom's eating sugar with her nose. It's like, ooh.
There's the different one where he's like standing and kind of just observing, and then it's like when your dad says he's going to get milk and he packs his suitcase.
Just that cute fucking look on his face. Anyways, I want to get this out of the way.
When he ate the frog.
People, I need y'all to know.
I know Yoda's 8 living things.
Yoda's species, we don't know what they're called. So the reason why we call him Baby Yoda is because that's all we know.
That's all we know it as.
That's all we know.
Which itself became a meme.
Yeah. He is not the child of Yoda. And he's
not.
Excuse me.
We don't know
that.
We've only seen Yoda and Yaddle. So we've seen one male and one female, so the pieces are there.
And this
yeah, but here's the deal, though.
Baby Yoda 50 years ago is about 10 to 15 years before Phantom Menace.
No. This movie takes place after Jedi.
Yes. 50 years ago, because it's 50 years old, is about 10 to 12 years before Phantom Menace.
So you're trying to say that...
How old is Luke in A New Hope? 17?
He's 20.
20, okay.
It's 20 years. So there's like 25 years from the end of the... Revenge of the Sith to Return of the Jedi. So that's 30 years.
Do you imagine there being a deleted scene in Empire Strikes Back? Bad father I am.
So there's about there's about 15 years between Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith.
Now we really know.
So
why
we're talking about
exile.
5 years. So we're talking about 5 years before Phantom Menace.
So now we actually really know why Yoda went into exile.
Well, I sent you the one that said hired the droid. I did. Child support pay. I was not.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, so excuse me. We don't know who the father is.
We don't know any relation of this.
But he is not Yoda as a baby.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a baby.
It's
Yoda.
not Baby Yoda. So, anyways,
So did you notice? So that he was hired by Werner Herzog, because you have to say it like he would, and the doctor with him was dressed as a cloner. So some people are thinking, oh, it's a Yoda clone. It's like, no, you morons. The cloner wants him alive so he can clone him to make more force sensitive whatevers. Because that's the other thing that we were all thinking. It's like
Yoda army.
Yeah, it's like is this species very much force sensitive? Because the two that we've seen were both masters and on the Jedi Council. Fuck you, Anakin. And and now we saw a third one, and we're like, does he have force powers? And we found out he did.
50-year-old baby's
a 50-year-old baby's powerful as shit.
Thing up.
He's out there trying to heal him. He's like, no, baby.
How great was that kill too? First of all, he's done. He's knocked out. He just has his knife pointed at it, like, all right, I'm going out like a Mandalorian. And then Yoda catches it and he just goes, huh? And then he drops it and he goes, oh, ping.
It's like, I gotta get him. Neck. Which is like the final payoff, because earlier in the episode, the Mandalorian was cut and the Yoda was trying to come over and heal it, and he kept picking him up and putting it in. It's like, listen, you dumb baby, get back. And then the second time he just closed him in his crib. It's like, I'm locking you up now.
First off, the healing thing, we haven't really seen Force heal yet. That would have been.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I know it doesn't mean anything.
We've literally, I mean, this is like, oh, we don't know that Batman can do this. It's like we've only seen him like.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen it yet. I'm just saying, yet it would have been nice to have seen. We're like, oh shit, that's a power we haven't seen yet. Now we have it. It's been in canon and other source material.
Yeah, but, this payoff was better. He's going to heal him later.
You think so?
Well, now he knows. And it's like, oh, maybe he was trying to come do something.
He's going to be running to that pod in a future episode. Like, come on.
At the same time, this Mandalorian, man.
Scare the kid.
He's been getting his ass kicked. in the last two
Imagine
episodes
like
already.
a really funny scene if the Mandalorian gets shot in the dick and he just runs up and exposes himself to a little baby in a crib. Help me!
Oh my god!
Now he's on the Mandalorian sex offender registry.
The thing that I thought that was terrifically
the young Mandalorian.
The thing that I thought that was really interesting was the Jawas came back and ransacked his ship, and so we actually see them doing Jawa things. And as they run off and he chases them, in my head, I'm thinking it's like they better just throw any random piece of crap they have.
And they
at
were.
them. And they did. And it's like, it doesn't matter that I knew that was coming. Yeah. That was great because that's what those guys would do. It's like, we don't really have weapons. We're just going to throw shit at you and try and knock you off.
It was nice to see Jawas, though. Wasn't it nice?
It was great to see that.
Fantastic. Yeah. And they're all like, the egg. Yes, we want the egg. You're like, what fucking egg?
They just ate it.
That's all they wanted.
So nasty. All sticking their hands and rubbing on their faces. And,
he's like, yes, the egg.
Do you guys understand a flamethrower?
That was the best. Like, you're like, you have to put all your guns away.
The negotiation.
Like, okay.
What he's like?
It's my shit.
Guns are my religion.
He's like, guns are my fucking religion, dude. You want me to put my gun away? Like
somebody made a meme and it said, the rest of the world, and it's Obi-Wan going, so barbaric, and then it's the Mandalorian, Americans, weapons are a part of my religion.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, I like
it's a country built on guns.
But again, this is and you were right. I will give you this. It's like I thought after the first episode, not having seen the length of the second, that they were timing it to where they could just add commercials whenever it gets released on Disney Channel. It's like, nope, they are telling the story and however long it is, and I think that's a fantastic choice.
I love it. There's
absolutely correct.
There's no 40. There's no 50 minute. No 101 minute. They're telling a story. They're getting it out there, and it's fantastic. It's cut, edited perfectly,
and they're making the breaks where the beats of the story happen. So inevitably there will be a 67-minute episode, but it will be an episode that's supposed to be 67 minutes.
Who knows? Maybe there isn't. I mean, this could
there may not be
8 episodes of fucking 33, 39 minute. And just get it out.
The thing is, I looked at this one. I think this one was 33 or 36 or whatever it was, and it felt longer than it was.
It feels longer,
but it moved. It moved the entire time.
It feels good. It's perfectly edited. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and complain about
music.
this. The score is fantastic, but once again, one of my biggest issues with Netflix series is that A, 13 episode seasons too long. B, their episodes are 59 to 105 minutes long, too long. They drag out, but Disney and Favreau and those boys have figured it out. They're like, listen, we're going to edit this, we're going to cut it, we're going to make it 8 episodes, we're going to tell a story, no filler, just go, and it's fantastic.
Sidebar related to that, Amazon, of course, spent all that money to get the rights to tell the Lord of the Rings story in the Second Age, which is before the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. It's the time of the Simolorian, from what I understand. So the first season is 20 episodes,
and guess what?
They've already
renewed it for
but the thing is,
2.
I don't think that's terrifically, as I air quote, impressive or means anything, because from what I understood, the original deal is that they were going to do 5 seasons no matter what. So
Jesus,
yeah, that was part of the commitment with the Tolkien family, that it's like, look, you got to do this
if you're going to do it. Do it
because
right.
we don't want half a story hanging out there and then there's nothing that's ever gets finished. Because whenever somebody would come in behind it, they'd have to retell what was already told. So they're like, you got to tell whatever thing that you're pitching. So I think, from what I understand, it's a whole 5 seasons no matter what. And what Amazon's doing is that they're doing more episodes per season to get to a certain number of episodes for themselves.
Wait, here's the deal with that.
20 episodes?
How much source material is there?
Well, there's none, so to speak. But they can tell any story they want as long as it doesn't contradict anything that Tolkien has written. So I mean, they have a lot of room.
There's a lot of room to make shit happen, but still, that
because as I read up on this, that time period is like 8,000 years.
Like this should Harry Potter at this point. I'm kind of upset. Harry Potter would have been perfect as a series. Like, it should have been a series. It should have been 7 seasons.
Or are you pitching HBO Max for 10 years from now?
Probably. Like, honestly, Harry Potter would have been a perfect series, because those books are too long to have been shortened down to like 2.5 to 3.5 hours long. And of course, they split the last book in half into 2 episodes, and it was not enough either. Not enough.
And they cut out a bunch of
oh my god, so much.
B-plots.
A lot of B plots. There was a elf uprising that they cut out. All kinds of shit. Well, we are going to see a fucking Harry Potter series. I mean, at some point.
I mean, the once the Grindelwald thing is finished, or you can even go further back or further ahead.
Further ahead. I mean,
I don't think they'll go ahead, but they'll fill times in the past.
Harry as an Auror could be pretty good, but I mean, especially considering the fact that you see what HBO is doing with Watchmen, and that's not based on any particular source material. I mean, it's just based on the lore of Watchmen. Has anyone been watching that, by the way?
Well, actually, no,
I
it's
need
in
to
the
catch
future.
up.
It's a continuation of it. I've seen just the first episode.
I watched the first two.
I watched 2, and then I don't know why I haven't really gone back to it.
It's good,
how many,
but
how many, are we up to 5 yet or 4?
they were up to 5
I think it's 5.
right now at this point.
I mean,
And
me finding a free 3 hours ain't hard.
And his Dark Materials, has anyone been watching that? I watched the first episode. It's pretty good.
I've recorded the first one. I haven't watched that. I did watch the first 2 episodes of the Dublin Murders, which is pretty fantastic.
I am.
Somebody was making a point that they are going to the whole Joker 2 noise. Whether and I was commenting to some friends that are in
So we're
the
switching to movie talk?
entertainment industry thing. Well, this continuation of you know how we talk, is that Joker 2 was confirmed. And I was telling some of my entertainment reporter friends, is like, welcome to sports reporting, because Phillips has come out and denied all of that. So this is Nick Saban with the Miami Dolphins. I'm never going to Alabama. It's like the contract hasn't been signed. It appears that it's totally going to happen. It's just they don't have an agreement, so they can't announce anything.
$1 billion, it's going to happen.
It absolutely will. But
And you know what? Like I said, we were talking about in the chat yesterday. I personally did not like the Joker. But as what I said own it and go ahead and just, you know what, Scorsese-fy the fuck out of a bunch of villains and tell stories and use Scorsese movies as a template.
But this was going back to your Harry Potter thing. It's like, this is Warner Brothers, and they were talking about the Snyder Cut, of which Warner said is like, no, that's not coming out. And so Warner Brothers they've messed up the DCEU. They've been trying to get a Police Academy sequel on for about 25 years and can't make that happen. Lord of the Rings got run into the ground by making The Hobbit into 3 movies rather than just the 2 it was originally supposed to be. They're continuing the Fantastic Beasts with Harry Potter. Lethal Weapon, they've messed up. It took them forever to Matrix. They're adding a 4th movie. It took them forever to get Fury Road off the ground, which actually worked probably in spite of themselves, because they were in Namibia for about 2.5 years.
Where's the next one?
And again, they haven't figured out how to work on the next
they
one.
do Green?
4 years.
Dirty Harry, Exorcist, and then even Sex and the City, they ran into the ground. They can't get a 3rd one of those off that just makes money, whether they're good or not. So they have a history of not being able to make things work when they have it just put in front of them.
Speaking of which, how come we haven't seen the damn Godzilla vs. Kong trailer yet?
And that's the other thing. That's the one that they're talking about, is
Super
that
Bowl.
If it survives, it'll be
comes out the next month.
It'll be in front of a Christmas movie or a Thanksgiving, whatever big
it comes
Thanksgiving
out in
or
March.
Christmas.
You can't release a trailer in February for a movie that comes out in March.
That'll be the last one, but their first one will be coming up.
What's their big movie for the holiday season?
But I know that the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer will be coming out shortly. I'm trying to think who's Knives Out, who's producing that, who's releasing that. But it's got to be one of the upcoming things with the movie season. I'm surprised we didn't see something because that's Fox. Never mind.
Well, no, I'm saying what's the upcoming movie release slate? It's going to be ahead of whatever big holiday movie they have coming out. That's
it'll be in front of Star Wars, but I mean, I can't think of their.
No, it wouldn't be in front.
Well, no, it can be. It's just that it would most definitely be in front of their own.
Let me see. Ooh, Knives Out comes out next week.
Mr. Rogers is tonight. And so's Frozen 2. I thought that was later, but that's tonight as well.
Really?
You know what?
I thought that was the week of Thanksgiving.
You know what's really crazy about Frozen 2 and just in general those kind of movies? I haven't seen any advertising for it.
I've seen like 1 or 2 things.
What do you not watch ESPN because it's there like every hour?
I really don't watch.
If they're not pushing Disney Plus in the bundle, they're talking about Frozen 2.
I watch everything on ESPN on YouTube and clips later.
Yeah. So I mean, you're skipping the commercials.
They release them right after it airs.
Yeah, you can see everything you need.
Who's making Cats?
It does.
Fucking Satan.
Well, yeah, I know. Who's making that movie though? Who's releasing?
It
Cats?
feels like it's got to be a Warner Brothers movie. It might be
probably
Paramount.
is.
But but that's why I was bringing up the Joker movie, was because of the Harry Potter thing and the inability to understand and manage a franchise well enough. And the 2 options that were being talked about concerning Joker was a sequel, which goes to what I disagree. I'm in between with Josh, and I didn't like the movie. I think it was a well-made movie. I think there was one particular issue because of the time era they put it in, by wanting to say it's because of the rich that's causing it, but by putting in the early 80s, effectively New York City, that was government corruption, not wealth abuse, which is, again, that's picking at straws between, but there's decidedly two different things.
Well, wasn't Thomas Wayne actually running for government
but,
office?
and again, that's why they're trying to combine those things. But again, the era of what they're doing was specific to a type of thing. But I just didn't like it because that's not my type of movie. But also, one of the things that I did say is like there are no ambiguities in the movie other than when we were told when the music is playing. When he's having a good time, they told us that that's where he's having a delusion. Otherwise, everything else happened. It happened. And then they're like, oh, no, there's like an ambiguity or it could be interpreted different ways. Well, now if there's a sequel, because then we have to know one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And the other option is going to do other origins for other villains. The assumption was that it was mostly Batman villains, but none of the articles I've read actually stated that it would just be Batman villains. It could be Lex Luthor or it could be anybody.
So I read something that said that they wanted to do a Lex Luthor movie where Lex Luthor becomes president or runs for president.
Which would be a terrific thing.
Yeah,
they did that in the comics, which was a great idea.
And it's the way that Hollywood's going to have maybe a parody Donald Trump moment.
Which is funny because that was like 10, 15 years before the current situation. Yeah. It was like, again, the beginning of comics in the late 30s and early, they were following pop culture. And then in the 50s and 60s, they were mirroring it. And then to the 80s and 90s, they started to get ahead of it. And we didn't realize how far they were ahead of it until just recently. But the Mandalorian thing just leads into which they're already filming season 2. Ming-Na Wen is a regular cast. And here's the thing that we haven't seen yet. We've got 8 episodes. We haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito. We haven't seen
Bill Burr. We want to talk about right now?
Yeah, Mandalorian. Okay, Bill Burr. We haven't seen Gina Carano.
Yeah, her character.
We haven't seen her. Well, apparently Ming-Na Wen makes an appearance during season 1. We haven't seen her at all. So, I mean, there's like plenty of cast members we haven't seen yet. And we've gotten so much to talk about and think about with where it could go just in the first 2 episodes.
Actually, you know what? Warner Bros. Doesn't really have a big Christmas release. You would have thought it would have came in front of Dr. Sleep, actually, which came out 2 weeks ago.
No, they went away for the Thanksgiving and Christmas thing where they get to be. So it'll be in front of Star Wars. It'll be in front of Frozen. Something will be in front of Frozen. Although not yet, because we haven't seen anything
Kong,
yet.
No, Kong will not be in front of Frozen. That's all kids trailers.
Parents are bringing kids in front of that.
This is true, but you're just not going to see it in front of that. It might be.
We say that, but I mean, when those movies aired, those movies were popular in the U.S. because kids were watching them.
Not anymore, though. But I don't know. It'll be that trailer should be coming out fairly soon, though. I mean,
like it should be out.
Yeah, it should be. We should at least have seen the YouTube one the Tuesday before the Friday release.
Something's a miss? No, they don't want. I mean, the last movie just came out like not even 6 months ago. Not even.
Oh, I think they're releasing.
Does nobody remember how Master P made millions of dollars by putting rap artists on the album before their next one, and the next one had the next guy, so everybody knew what was next?
Yeah, but also
he was a marketing genius.
$670 million.
Yeah, that last movie didn't do that well. So
he was so good, he forced himself to being on an NBA team.
They're trying to force. I mean, I'm saying they're pulling a Disney / Lucasfilms. They're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we are releasing these movies too.
I'm in awe that you knew that number.
Random Google nights.
I get bored in Google stuff. I'm sorry.
No, that's a terrific one to have.
I'm a whole vault of ridiculous information.
That's a terrific one to have.
Because people are like, man, these rappers nowadays suck. And I was like, well, Master P wasn't that great. Look at this.
Neither was Diddy, and I still think Jay-Z wasn't that good of a rapper. But whatever.
Jay-Z is not that great. He's just like, I call him the Red Hot Chili Peppers of rap. He's just been good for 25 years.
Yeah, consistent and the same thing. Nothing innovative, but he's all worth $1 billion.
Like at no point were the Red Hot Chili Peppers the best band in the world.
Never close. The consistent over 20 years is going to get some jackass into a unanimous vote into the Hall of Fame this Christmas, New Year's.
Wrong podcast.
That spite has no limits.
Who are we speaking of?
Derek Jeter.
Jeter. Wrong podcast.
Negative 223 defensive run differential.
A wrong podcast.
This is a short stop.
I went and saw him for his farewell tour too. Anyways,
I mean, it's as a legend of a player, great, fantastic.
So big news as well. We were going to go and talk about Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy and Disney are all trying to figure out what the future of Star Wars is going to be after Rise of Skywalker,
and the huge popularity of Mandalorian across all social media platforms.
And realizing that hey, we're onto something here. There's one movie slated coming up. Well, no, one. There's only one release date.
No, there's
Excuse me.
3 because they're alternating the Avatar and Star Wars release dates in Decembers.
Yeah, but no, there has been no official release date for the Ryan Johnson trilogy.
Yes.
So there's only one
there's
release.
3. No, there's 3. They still have 3 dates. We have no idea what they
Well,
are.
2022 is the only official one right now.
The 2022, 2024, and 2026. They announced all of those dates. They have Avatar every other year, and between those were the Star Wars ones.
Hold on.
That was like 4 or 5 months ago, whenever the merger was completed or something.
Man, that's a couple billion every December.
Yeah, that's the idea behind that.
Merry Christmas.
And again, this goes to why I'm saying about the failure of Solo is once Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit has said like that second week of December is the time to put a fantasy thing, then they just stay there.
What do we think Avatar 2 is going to do? Do we think it holds up?
No.
It can't
Too long.
Well, its first week will do good because just any technological innovation that they may be looking for. But then after that, all of its money will be made internationally.
Yeah.
China, Japan, Asia will see the out of that movie, and then probably a lot in Europe.
It's good. I never got why it was first.
It at the time it tricked people into thinking that 3D was viable again, and then we had to suffer through that for 10 years until they was like, just don't give us the 3D, just give us IMAX.
I hate 3D movies. I've never gotten into them. I hate them.
There's a reason that technology hasn't caught on after 70 years. But the going to John's point, with that, all of the previous announced pairings of producers in movies or directors and writers in movies haven't gotten official release dates. They just have holding dates. Much like when you sent me the 5 Marvel dates, it's just dates. It's not movies attached to those dates. And but they have said that they do have a director and they do have their next project, but they're not going to announce.
They're not going to announce until after Rise of Skywalker. I'm kind of excited to figure out who that's going to be, but as of right now, they're basically saying that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni will be the
Kevin Feige of Star Wars.
The Kevin Feiges of Star Wars.
Which John likes to give Favreau no credit because
before when you went up to the bathroom, he was doing the same thing. He was trying to just eliminate.
No, I think Favreau deserves credit, and he is a Star Wars. He loves Star Wars, but at the same time, Filoni's like literally was like if there was a coaching tree. Filoni studied under George Lucas. So
we get that. That's he's the what was it? The Tex Winter. He's your triangle offense guy.
Yeah.
Favreau is the guy the producer, which is why he's on the team, putting the players and the team all on the same page. Yeah. You need the X's and O's guy, and then you need the other guy.
Yeah, well,
Filoni's not the other guy.
Filoni's still really young too. So like he's
really young. What is he in his late 40s? So he's like 8 years different from. I can't imagine he's in his 30s. I mean, yeah, maybe young in Hollywood standards for like behind the scenes people, but again, the group that appears to be making most of the decisions in the creative and storytelling process will be the 2 people that, one, Disney has ultimate faith in, Jon Favreau, and 2, the people that the fans, Star Wars fans, have ultimate faith in Dave Filoni, which I think is a win-win situation for everything.
Oh, absolutely. So definitely a win-win. So I mean. Oh, let's see. Favreau is 53. Filoni's 45. So
8 years.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Just enough there. But I mean, those 2 guys.
Just enough, otherwise known as exactly on the nose.
As far as I'm concerned, those 2 guys are the perfect people to shepherd Star Wars into the next era past the Skywalker saga. So
I think the greatest benefit is that one, Filoni's been telling kind of the outside stories with Rebels and Clone Wars. I mean, not so much Clone Wars, but with Rebels
and Resistance,
and that with whatever idea they come up with, because of Favreau in Jungle Book and Iron Man 2
and Lion
King and Mandalorian. When he says this is going to be our next thing, they're going to say, "Okay, let's go do that." They're not going to meddle. They're not going to question. And they're not going to get involved in it. They're just going to do it.
Do you think Kathleen Kennedy's going to stick around?
I think that she's going to be. This is a you and another person I've been having a disagreement on this. Is that she's done nothing wrong.
She hasn't really,
because I mean, this is the thing. Is like Disney wants sausage. The sausage that she's been delivering has been making them billions of dollars. Now, if you look at how the sausage is made, hey, it's kind of gotten ugly and sloppy, and there's been some things in there, but nobody cares. Nobody cares about
Except
that
for
part.
Solo. But Solo's had the wrong release date.
But again, yes.
They fucked up making a summer
and
movie.
she is the one who wanted to keep it as a December release date. She wanted to push it back to December, and Disney, when Alan Horn is the one who wanted to keep it at May.
He forced
because he was listening to the fans, and she knew it's like no, we've got we have our window. We have our Star Wars window now as the holidays.
Which really sucks because you know what? Solo's really good. The more you watch it, it's actually good.
When's the last time they released a bad Star Wars movie? Anybody?
An actual bad Star Wars movie?
I think the only
Attack
one
of the Clones?
the only one that didn't work was the
Revenge of the Sith.
the Clone Wars movie, the first 3 episodes of the Clone Wars series that they released
Which was
as
a pilot movie.
It gets you there, but it doesn't really finish anything.
And
it wasn't bad.
Yeah, but it's not bad, but it just wasn't good. But that show is also one of those things that just gets progressively better every season.
Speaking of the
Season 7 will be on Disney Plus.
The Ewok Adventure is the original appearance of the Blurgs.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
They went deep cut on that. And there's a rumor saying they want to do a Christmas special. By the way,
they did the Blurgs. They referenced Life Day, which is the holiday special, and they also referenced the Mandalorian rifle with the 2 prongs, which is Boba Fett's first weapon when he was animated in the holiday special. They were referencing everything in Mandalorian.
Well, what's actually really crazy is the fact, by the way, guys,
and Boba Fett may have appeared in the background.
And Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian. Anyways,
he's a clone, possibly, of a Mandalorian.
Well,
we don't know what Jango is.
Jango is not a Mandalorian, though. It's in canon. He's not. Well, old canon. He's not. But whatever.
We don't know what he is now.
Yeah, they could very well change that up. More Star Wars news. Anyone y'all play the new Star Wars game? Have you tried it yet?
I downloaded it.
And what do you think?
I beat like the first 2-3 missions. It's the movement's great. The fighting's fun. I got to play more of it.
I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
entertaining.
It's got what's his face from Shameless and Joker.
Yeah, Cameron, whatever.
Moynihan,
yeah.
Yeah, he's
I saw his face. I was like, "Is that?" And I googled it. I was like, "Yeah, he's the lead."
Yeah, he's the lead in that. It's supposed to be really good. I want to play it.
Oh, from Gotham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotham Joker's the lead.
He's the lead in that game. A lot of these video games are taking actors.
The cutscenes are fucking beautiful.
They already have a action figure for him, so they are investing in this storyline.
Oh yeah, no, it's A, canon, and B, it's the first solo game they've made in a very long time. So
the thing that's pretty exciting about this is that with the toys that they're putting out with the other source material, so the fact that they have this character as a toy, he may appear in something somewhere else. And Dr. Aphra, which was comic only character, got a toy, and so she's likely to appear in something somewhere else as well.
Well, guys, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to cut this pretty short. I'm gonna say a couple things and then we got to go. But I will say, Favreau coming out and saying, you know what, guys, there will be no Baby Yoda toy for the holiday season. Because, sorry, no spoilers. We didn't want this to happen.
This is the same thing that happened with Rey with Force Awakens.
Fantastic. Love it.
Because they didn't want to spoil it.
No, they didn't want to spoil it. You know what?
Leading up to the movie, we all thought Finn was a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
That's why they marketed it.
Yeah. But that's what we picked up from it, and that's the way that it looked.
But having
that one scene was done really well, where Kylo's trying to call the saber in Force Awakens, and it flies right past them. Whoosh.
Into Rey.
Yeah.
That was.
I want to fly right into Rey.
Now, one of the things I have heard is that potentially she may have a Disney Plus series at some point in the future.
Rey?
Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
They're going to find.
Look, first off, you post things from We Got This Covered, and you're like looking at me like I just said something.
Yeah, but no. What I'm saying is, like, you know what?
It doesn't have to be within the next 5 years. It could be 15 years away.
Well, here's the deal: is like they're saying that, well, there's already, 2 more confirmed Star Wars series coming out.
2, yes.
Yeah,
and they already have season 2 of Mandalorian.
Kenobi, and you have, the other show?
Cassian Andor.
Yeah. So we have those 2.
And again, those are all 3 different time periods.
Diego Luna's getting a show?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's before, so it's going to be all the bad, terrible things that he did, which is going to be, I think, really good. I think what Departed Idea has a real chance as a Disney Plus series.
It could work.
How good of a reveal of that is, like, not until the end of the second episode that you realize that the Imperial is actually the Rebel and the Rebel is actually the Imperial. It's like,
it's probably going to happen. I mean,
because that's the way you do that. You just
spy v spy.
You go out into the outer edges of what Star Wars is, and then just stay away from the the main Jedi things, and you just what other people had to do to fight and survive and do everything. Which I think was a very clever thing. Is like he turned down the Imperial credits because the Empire is folding and that money's not worth anything, but he took the calamari money because they're part of the rebellion, so they'll be part of the new government, so that money will be good.
Well, it's kind of crazy when you think about those. When the Mandalorian was coming out, no one really thought it was going to be any type of Jedi influence on the show at all. First episode, boom. Sorry, guys. Baby Yoda.
Good.
Well, no, but the thing is, it's not about the Jedi. It's about the Force and how that
it's
power
not about
can be
Jedi,
used.
it's the Force. Yeah.
What's the lowest grossing Star Wars movie?
Lowest grossing Star Wars movie?
This is easy.
It's Attack of the Clones.
No, it's Solo.
Yeah.
Oh no! I thought
People
you
want the lightsabers.
I thought
they want the Jedi.
No, I thought you were talking of the trilogy.
No, any Star Wars movie. People want the lightsabers.
Yeah, they want the Force.
Well, technically, I guess you're right because Rogue One did have Vader at the very.
Well, not only that,
and that wasn't even a part of the movie. That was added.
It referenced the Journal of the Wills. It referenced the Wills and the Defenders and the Kyber crystals, and so it gave you the Jedi lore without giving the
Donnie. Oh, his character is the best. Blind guy.
Oh, yeah, he was fantastic.
He's got a movie coming out, and hopefully it comes to theaters here because I'm told December 20th.
The best part of Rogue One is when they put the fucking thing over the.
I'm blind.
I'm blind.
Idiots. And with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this episode of Simon Says Pop short.
Mandalorian's great.
Yep.
Yeah, just watch it.
Oh, what is today? Today's Thursday.
Thursday tomorrow.
Tomorrow, new episode.
Do they drop at midnight or like in the morning?
It's like in the middle of the night.
Oh, okay.
It's a non-consistency.
I have no idea. Well, I mean, considering the fact that Disney Plus was released around midnight that day and not 6 a.m., who knows? They could just be fucking with us. They want to do whatever they want.
I watched the first episode at like 4 a.m. and the second one at about 6.
I watched the first one at 2 a.m.
So I'll be up to midnight, see if it's an East Coast thing, and then whenever I wake up,
I was in the middle of watching a movie that's considered a highly touted Oscar movie.
Third episode of Goldblum when it comes out as well. That's a lot of fun. It's a fun show.
I don't know if I really like the ice cream one, but I was watching a movie that's a highly touted contender for best Oscar movie before Mandalorian came out. No, I'm not gonna say what it was because it doesn't matter. It's good. I didn't finish it. Shut. Listen, I'm editing that out because I do not need the FBI coming after me. Anyways.
You posted it on Facebook. What's the difference?
Did I?
That's worse.
I could have went.
China already knows. Of course, they're now trying to funnel new stuff to you.
Well, at the same time, I bought a ticket for it at Valentine the same day, and I didn't make it to the showing.
So I don't care what you do. You just don't talk about it.
No, but I'm just saying, I swear, you know what? I could have very well been there. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening to Simon Says Pop.
You're not going to hear any of this anyway.
Yeah, I know. Who cares? Well, they'll listen to it as we talk. Anyways, guys, have a great weekend. Love you. Bye.